and welcome everybody. I am Bonnie Bruder and you are watching the Askbonbon show. Real conversations about what matters most, where we bring you the people and the tools to create you. So today we are doing a very important segment. It's part of our business series, and that is productivity. Now let me ask you a question. If you are an entrepreneur or just anyone who works in an office, have you ever had that experience where it seems almost crazy to try to get your job done? I know at my house, I work from home, it's like the dog is either needing to go out or barking, or the phone is beeping, or I'm getting a Facebook Messenger, or Skype is popping. It's literally impossible to keep your focus on what you need to get done. And so today we are talking with a very special productivity expert, and she is going to give us some tips and strategies on how to manage not only that, but other areas of your life. I want to introduce all of the viewers to Nancy Snell, who is a business and productivity coach. Nancy, welcome to the show.
Bonnie, thank you.
So tell us, what do you do?
So what I do all day is help people get stuff done.
Okay.
And turn all of those incredible intentions that we all have into actions and results. Sounds easy. Sounds simple, not always easy.
I can imagine. Again, I mean, I know there's a million distractions. Things are always beeping and tweeting and popping. And so how do you work with someone if they come to you, and especially here in New York? I mean, it's just constant input and stimulation 24 hours a day. What is your process?
I think the first thing I want to say is somebody has to be really motivated to change, because I like to call it a tsunami.
Okay.
And it is not stopping anytime soon for any of us. Those of us who are out and we're busy and we're at work, and as you said, things are blinking and pinging and going, and there are 1,000 interruptions. So I think one has to make up one's mind that we're going to change a little bit. And sometimes it's a matter of like almost detoxing. You know, like, okay, maybe I'm not going to look at my phone for the next 5 minutes.
Yes.
It might be that, or I'm going to turn it off and walk in the park. So, yeah, it's about committing to changing.
It's funny that you say that. So earlier this year, I think it was during the last snowstorm, I went on a trip to Jamaica just because I had it with the weather.
I don't blame you.
And I spent 4 days, and I had said to myself, mainly because I went at last minute and I didn't have a phone plan, I said, that's it. I'm going to put my phone away. I know, scary.
Random, great.
I haven't been disconnected completely for years. I don't know the last time. And so I noticed that it was amazing and incredible. And after a few days, I didn't care if I ever tweeted or did anything again. But I found myself having a little anxiety the day I was going back home, because I knew I had to turn back on my phone. And I really, like you said, it is a detox. I really enjoyed being completely free of that.
So that's a great story, because it shows that it's possible.
Yes.
That you're not going to die.
Yes.
And you didn't miss, your business didn't collapse.
No.
You didn't miss the love of your life.
No.
You know, nothing horrible happened. And if somebody had to get in touch with you, they would have found a creative way to get in touch with you.
Yes.
And we're also wired today that we don't even give ourselves the possibility. We don't even create the possibility of not being connected that way. So in a world, it's just paradoxical that, you know, in a world where we're so connected, we're ultimately so disconnected from one another.
Yes. Yes, it's so true. I was babysitting for my cousins, and they have a 15 and 16-year-old at the time, and we were eating dinner, and they were Facebooking each other. So instead of having a conversation at dinner, they were commenting and then making comments about the comments, and I just thought, this is such an interesting time. We're literally at the dinner table together.
It's scary.
It is scary.
I think I'm really grateful I didn't grow up in that time.
Yes.
You know, because so much is about communication, and we're talking about communication
Right.
in one way, and that in the other way, there are college campuses today that actually require students to come into a room and speak to one another.
I love it.
Right, I love it too.
Good old-fashioned speaking.
Right, like the good old-fashioned ways that, you know, people just don't know anymore.
Right.
It's sad.
It
I'm
is.
grateful that I had it and that I know about that.
Right, and so now you're helping?
I need her to adjust because you're rubbing it a lot.
I'm rubbing it.
Yeah, and it's picking up.
Okay.
Yeah.
There we go. Pick
Should I
up
not
where we
move
left
my
off?
hands?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Okay, good. So it's good. We can edit.
So, so it's fantastic then that you are able to help people that are caught up in that. It's almost an addiction, I feel, that they're constantly checking and texting and tweeting and so forth. So you must have some great success stories. Can you tell us about some of your clients?
So I work with really successful business professionals of all stripes and colors. So whether they're attorneys or whether they're accountants or they're small business owners of IT companies or they're just entrepreneurs. I got into this whole end of the world by doing and being a specialist in expertise in adult ADD.
Okay.
ADHD. And that informs a lot of the work that I do in terms of solutions and behavioral strategies for the challenges, when somebody's overwhelmed. So it's a matter of, for example, we can't plan on the fly.
Right.
We have to, one of my favorites is about pausing.
Yes.
We don't think to pause. We're so busy doing the next thing and running and jumping that we don't stop to take a breath. And very often the pausing is really where we can access our brains.
Right.
And we can think just for a nanosecond.
It's funny that you say that. So after Jamaica, that's when I really decided to make this show, this global sensation that it's becoming. And I figured out all of the bits and pieces, not by going on my computer, but by laying on the beach, reading girly magazines, and really pausing. For 4 days I paused.
Right.
And then that's when all of the good, information and data that we're missing comes out.
Yeah, because I think I've been doing this for 13 years. And before that, I had a career in broadcasting. So I've always been in the time management business of one sort or another. So
Yes.
I sold airtime, I sold commercial time. So it was always a matter of, doing a lot of things and putting a lot of things together. And I've watched the world evolve and get more and more and more and more and more rapid. And the demand's greater. But the pause in all the years is one of the things that I know is one of the biggest takeaways from my clients.
Yes.
When they internalize that and they give themselves permission to stop and think through. Because
Interesting.
you know what? When you stop and you think and you ask yourself, what do I need to do next? You will always have the answer.
Yes. So how does somebody know they need you? If you're a busy executive and you're a whirling dervish and you're running around doing your life, how does somebody know that they would need a productivity expert?
Well, I think it's about the stress level and the overwhelm and the exhaustion level. And when there's a discrepancy between your ability and what you're delivering, there's a gap there. And it's chronic.
Yes.
And you have these great intentions all the time and you're just stressed and you can't get off of this stuff and you can't get things off of your to-do list. It's just growing and growing and your calendar isn't working and you could be missing meetings or you could have like a questionable review at work.
Yes.
These are always, that's where the work that we do is laser focused and it has measurable results pretty quickly.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I love it. I
It's
imagine.
great. Coaching is, really wasn't around. And now the coach word has a little stigma to it also, for whatever reason.
I
Because
love it.
many
I'm a
people-
coach.
Oh, yeah, right, exactly. Like we're coaches. We're
Yeah.
trained. We know what we're doing with coaching. And it's an extraordinary methodology. Why? Because it works. And it's about action and taking results. It's not about why, figuring out why, what's broken. It's about where are we right now? Where do we want to go? What do we need to do to get there?
Right.
Where am I stopped?
Yes, absolutely. We
It's
teach
great.
a similar process in different, you specialize in something very different than I specialize in, but that is really, I think, the secret to any type of results is, okay, where are you right now? Where do you need to be? And what's keeping you stuck?
Exactly.
And so from your side of the fence, it's the lack of productivity and it's a lack of systems.
Lack of systems,
Yeah.
lack of skills of how to dismantle an unwieldy day.
Yes.
How to wake up in the morning and not feel like you want to go back under the covers or jump out the window because it's just going to be one more day where I'm going to feel horrible because I didn't get anything done that I
Right.
needed to. Or, a lot of it, back to strategies, a lot of it is about the communication skills that we develop. We have to learn to say no.
Yes.
We have to put an autoresponder on.
No
to
is
say,
fantastic.
No. I heard once, no is a complete sentence.
Yes.
N-O, period.
It is. And by saying no, you're saying yes to something else, even if it's just the pause, right? That's one of my
right.
favorite things that I had to learn because I was a yes person. Yes, 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 yes. And then I thought, oh, by saying no, I can say yes to something more important.
Right.
So,
It's not about being rude. It's about
Right.
it's about prioritizing.
Yes.
And that's another skill. That's very challenging for so many people that are so overwhelmed and overloaded and stressed and ready to, shoot themselves every day.
yeah.
It's really about learning how to prioritize.
So what are a couple tips if maybe some of our viewers are watching and they tend to be somebody that's a little bit all over the place? What are a couple of things that they can do? Maybe they're not ready to reach out and start working with a productivity coach, but something that they can do to improve their life.
So just know, number one, that your to-do list is not your calendar.
Okay.
I'm a big calendar girl.
Okay.
I happen to be a paper planner girl.
Yes.
And I wanted to start Paper Planners Anonymous. Believe it or not, there are many of us who still use paper planner. And we integrate it with electronic, and that's an individual thing as well. But so it's a matter of prioritizing a to-do list, and my calendar is my best friend. Why? Because time is a commodity,
Yes.
and it's finite,
Yes.
and it's over. So we want to optimize. It's really how we're using it and utilizing it every day. So use a calendar. Find one that works for you, anyone. And don't just have it around, but actually look at it. I look at mine a zillion times a day. So that's number one. Number two is, you have to plan the time to plan.
Yes.
You can't, if we're planning on the fly and we're airborne, we're just going to be doing anything to feel productive, to
Right.
feel a sense of accomplishment, but they
Right.
might not be the right things. Email. I have a strategy for email, which is what I like to call the 2-minute rule. So I have some clients that have like 31 now has 3,800 in his box.
Oh,
I mean, I
gosh.
said I would forget about it.
I go through mine every single day.
Okay,
I
so
don't
you're
leave
one
any.
of those.
Yeah,
All right,
I'm one of
but
those.
there are a
So-
lot of people who are not those because
Yeah.
they just can't keep up with it
I
because
know.
they just keep coming in. So it's really this. I didn't make this up, but I think it's pretty cool. It's like this 2-minute rule. So just stop. Again, you have to stop.
Yes.
And go through them. Don't spend any more than 2 minutes on any given email. Why? Because you want to see what the inventory is.
Okay.
The 15th one might be from your boss. But if you
Right.
spend an hour on the first one, you're never going to get to the 15th.
Right.
So it's sort of it's like a brain scan.
Yes.
And go through. And then, obviously there are other strategies for dealing with email. But the point is, all of this is doable.
Okay.
You do not have to live like this
Right.
if you do not want to.
Well, because it really, one of the quotes that I heard, and I can't remember which speaker said it, but somebody that I'd worked for always said, the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. So I imagine if you're having these struggles in your career, then it's translating into your relationships and the way you parent and all of the different other areas of your life. Is that right?
Oh, we are who we are. So
Yes.
if I can't show up, or I'm always doing everything at the last minute, or the old I have no idea where my keys are, and I'm always looking around
Right.
and can't get out of the house on time, no matter how much I plan, or the alarms go off. It's a slow, and it's about progress. It's not
Yes.
about perfection. And for those of us, high power, moving fast, we don't like small.
Right.
We like big. We like to get it all done, 101. And it's really about giving yourself permission to make incremental progress in the right direction,
Love it.
right? Like slow down. I remember a therapist told me once, Nancy, you have to slow down to go faster. And I
Yes.
almost like leaped up and grabbed his throat. Like, what are you talking about? I was like at that time, I was selling 25 television stations, 4 levels of management accountability, 80,000 buyers,
Right.
phones fleeing. What do you mean slow down? And in reality, it's true. That's that
Perfect.
pause again.
Yes. Well, great. Well, we need to wrap up for today, but how can people find you if they're interested in learning more? They know they need you. Where's the best place to contact you?
So I just launched, literally, today, my new website, which is nancysnell.com, SNELL, and my blog is The Distracted Executive.
Okay.
But they're all connected, so it's on my
Fantastic.
website, and I would love it if anybody reached out,
Thank
do
you.
a consult, whatever.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. It's great.
And we will be right back with another incredible guest.